once you understand quantum entanglement, reality is yours. Welcome everyone to the Simulation Frequency. Today we're going to be covering an AI that I ran across. I've ran across this quite a few months ago, and I recently saw her popping back up again, and I'm not sure if people realize that this person is AI, or at least I kind of grappled with it at first. Like, I thought it was, and then I thought it wasn't, and the channel keeps popping back up. And for me, it's kind of interesting because they don't disclose anywhere that it appears to me that they're AI. And I thought at some point they were leading it back to like a school community. I don't think that's the case anymore. It looks like they may have removed that. I could be wrong because I didn't think you were allowed to do that. So it brings up another interesting point. If this is AI content and they're not even disclosing it, is it copyright for me to even be showing it because of the fact that it's not even real, it's not a real human, and then they're not even disclosing it? And then furthermore, people are leaving comments, and I'll go through them as if this is a real individual. I don't know if these people don't realize she's not real. But first of all, let's cover some of the reasons I thought that she wasn't real. And I even left a comment in one of her videos about the specific reasons why I ended up realizing she was AI. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was this. This video is the largest video this channel has. It's from Shooketh because it's a girl that's kind of giving what my channel's giving. Speaking about everything quantum related, her channel talks a lot about like Neville Goddard. It's almost like a copycat channel. I'm not saying that this person is specifically copying me, but it's giving very much so copying the females that are in this space doing it, because there's not many of us, and the way she's doing it kind of mimics some of the videos that I do. So I started to get a little creeped out, and I was like, is this person real? Am I losing it? So if you look at her, the way she moves her hands, it's really creepy. She keeps, it's only if you pay attention to it. And this goes back to Uncanny Valley. I'm getting so much Uncanny Valley lately with influencers, with AI, this feeling where I can't pick up what is going on, but something is off and I don't know what it is. So with this specific AI, her hand movements become kind of uniform. They're erratic, but uniform at the same time. The AI is doing it on purpose where she's given hand movements, but they're kind of in a pattern. They don't give very natural. She keeps doing like this. You see this like over and over again. And it's like, how many times are we going to keep going like this? And then I started noticing once she was flailing her hands, when she would flail the hands, different hands would show up. So this is where I ended up seeing, I think it was at 22, the 22 mark. Okay, so if you can see here, her hands have absolutely no nails. Like, you see no nails on this hand. Here it is. She suddenly has nails. If you see here, she has suddenly grown nails. I can't get it to pause in the front. It's moving too quickly, and that's very purposeful. And if you look here, the mic is not right. Like, it looks as if it says sure, but it's not. The H looks like an N, and the E, I don't know, it's really close. And then when you look here as well, you can see that these letters are giving AI. And then she consistently has the same back to rooms, and if you go to some of her other videos, you can see it better, so to speak. You can see more of the discrepancies, and I think this channel is getting better and better with replicating her, if you know what I mean. So I think it probably learns, and it probably could take this video and update it so you could tell less and less, but it's a lesson to learn for all of us. Because let's go into the comments. This is funny, smoked a joint now, I get it. I mean, I'm wondering if these people know that this is AI and they're saying this for a very specific reason, just to like get something off their chest. This is a really intricate comment here. It says the quickest way to guarantee that you don't get what you want is to grasp the thing you desire. As a former professional athlete, I experienced this many times until I surrendered to the outcome of competitive competition. Gone was the need to perform, collapsed by a perception shift. And guess what would happen? My body would become free to perform and shine without me getting in the way. Grasping at anything is signaling that you don't have it, and therefore you shall remain. 1, stop grasping. 2, let go of outcome. Know you're okay with any outcome. And 3, this is how you collapse your old belief that allows something new to materialize, hence perception shift. As Einstein once said, the definition of madness is going to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Like, that was a really nice comment. That's good. This AI has more views than I do. And hey, listen, if she can teach it better than I can, then so be it. But it goes to show that AI is being pushed and YouTube is just pushing whatever AI algorithm stuff. Like, it doesn't even recognize it. And this person too, like, here we go. This is so interesting because, again, these seem like legitimate people. You can question, did the channel potentially buy bots to come in? But it seems legit. And I'm not saying that this can't be good if somebody's running it. Obviously, there's a person behind the channel. We don't know who this person is. I don't know if this person is just somebody that's like stealing other people's content, like basically cruising the internet, looking at all these hot topics about quantum, publishing them, especially like, for example, the next guy, Jacobo Gringberg. There's so many videos about him right now, and she did another video on this, and it's getting views. So this is where it starts to become where you're taking the things that are legitimate and then you're making them like this mass production thing. So they start to almost lose like credibility or something, or you're just like doing this. Do you believe it? Or are you just doing it because you see that it makes money and it's easy to AI generate content with this type of different information and data that you can kind of just steal from the internet and have AI plagiarize for you? So how about this one? Jacobo Grimberg was on his way to another country to do a thought process from a person in one country to a person in another country through quantum entanglement. He got on the plane and then he disappeared and has never been seen again. I think it was because he was onto something and someone didn't want it getting out. That's really interesting. But again, are you saying this in here because you believe that this person is real? The simplest, most direct and comprehensive explanation I've ever heard. And like, they're starting to argue in the comments. We need to stop pretending that we understand something humans are not capable to perceive. Well, yeah, I could get that, but listen to this. Not well done. The quantum mechanic rules only apply at the particle level. It breaks down very quickly when you go larger scale. Everything she says only applies to you if you're the size of a particle. I can't. I'm not saying that. Science like this is very bad and sad. I mean, again, we're not even recognizing that this is AI. It seems like now this was valuable. Wow, here we go. Luna being alive is amazing. When I come across a video such as yours directed to me by creative universal mind, life is so wondrous when these synchronicities appear. I am so thankful and grateful for your testimony and easy to understand explanation of quantum entanglement and the double slit experiment on how you applied it to your life, also sharing the method for your subscribers and watchers of your videos. This is just another wonderful moment of clarity. This is just another wonderful moment in my life to receive such clarity of knowledge and instruction through education, making this life journey a magical, take my hands off my eyes moment. I will definitely remember this learning moment as I move forward in time and space of life and love. Randy. Again, it's okay, I think, in my opinion, if you're just watching it in passing and you're like, wow, this video is amazing. Good job, girl. and you get some like really good inspiration. But listen, if you start becoming obsessed with her, thinking she's real, thinking that she's reading your comments, and then potentially going and interacting with somebody in a school community, if she's this good on the video, like they're using really top-notch level AI editing software, they could easily run a school community. I think that's probably one of the scams that I should probably cover on one of my other channels, about all the just grifting things that I've been seeing across the internets at large. There's been things where people are making content because it seems like maybe they're moving into their vehicles because they see that it really gets a lot of views. So they're kind of doing that. There's this other one that's a bunch of AI. They're called, I think, Chinamen or something like this, or Salarymen. It's like these guys in Japan or China recording themselves having this really crappy experience in these other countries, just constantly being worked to the bone, eating ramen and sleeping in these different office buildings kind of gig. And it's all AI driven, and people have no idea. And they're actually donating to these people under the assumption that these individuals are poor, or that they're having this horrible time in trying to survive. I'm not saying that potentially some of these videos aren't true, but what's happening is it seems as if now there's a wave of them that's starting to come in, and people are being able to crank out these videos that are getting tons of views. And then on top of that, people are donating actual cash money to these folks, and it's becoming another lucrative grift, if you will, on the internet. So if she here was to continue to not disclose that this is AI, could open, like I said, I swore I saw a school community. That's where I started to get kind of like disturbed, because at what point does it become somebody just teaching you from like a chat GPT perspective, not taking any deep thought on this, or just grifting or stealing from other people's content, and then going onto a school platform and regurgitating it just to make money? They may not truly believe in the product they're selling. They might just be fooling people with this content. And because people are so easily gullible, they could keep this kind of grift going on for a really long time, because all you would have to do is show up and have her pre-recorded on a video. And if you're really good, you would know how to pause her or do like a deep fake, which people also do. There's other modalities and methods that people get away with this. There's this one channel on YouTube. It grew so quickly, but it lets you know that it's AI. It's called Artificially Aware, and it has times 24-hour interaction with live AI, where it talks back and forth to you, the whole nine. It's so crazy, so like dystopian or something. And this is easily possible with attempting to do a channel like this. So again, if you're paying, and I don't know if it's helping you, I suppose, why not? But wouldn't you want to know? I would feel silly if I knew I was being duped and it was all AI and I actually thought it was this real person, and meanwhile it's some guy doesn't believe in any of this stuff, and he just sees that it's making a lot of money on the internet, so he's just taking a crapshoot and trying out to make money with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, technically the Sim's neutral, so you get your bag however you got to get your bag, but I just wouldn't want to personally be duped. I would feel salty, as they used to say, if I knew that I was highly into this person and they were completely AI and I just didn't even know it. Listen to this. I don't necessarily agree with everything this beautifully hypnotic person is saying, but I will agree that I believe in some of it. Thank you for some of it that made sense to me. So look, she's beautifully hypnotic. Look, somebody said it's AI. So here's another one. Hands down the most beautiful explanation of this topic by a very wide margin. This is the best video on the entirety of the internet about what is actually occurring within physics. Beautifully articulated at every turn. This video is literally my personal homepage, reference page for anything related to reality, consciousness versus subconscious, perception and perspective, belief, thought, action, physics, life, manifestation, etc. Big picture stuff. The only thing I wish was included in this video, the biggest and most important part about life, is the relationship between us and God's role in this dynamic structure of reality. Yeah, I agree, Jeff Hill, wherever you are out there, did you think that this was an actual person that you were writing this piece of information to? And that's the other thing, like, do you want to be on a page? Like, she'll never reply to you, or she'll just be like, thanks, bud. If you were to write that to me, I would be able to voice respond to you. At this point, they could do that with the damn AI at this point as well, but I could give you a deep, insightful kind of thought back and say you right. She's probably not going to want to talk about God, though. Does she talk about God in any AI videos? I'm going to have to look at that, because does AI cross that level of starting to talk about God? And is she going to ever tell you that you are from the Godhead? We'll have to see in other videos that I check out from her. I'll have to keep that in mind. Smart and beautiful. Nicely done. I knew of these three, but this video gave me realization. It gave me that giddy feeling inside. All right, I'm not mad at these people. It's just like, oh my God, I'm in love. You're so intelligent and beautiful. You have a new subscriber, sweetie. I'm shocked. And I'm doing something wrong, or what am I doing wrong? Like, let's listen to her.
It's called quantum entanglement. Two particles separated by any distance, even across the entire universe, remain in.
I have talked about entanglement a million times. I don't get 47,000. There's something's going on here.
Instantly connected. Change one, the other changes immediately. No signal, no delay.
She's always moving like this.
Now here's what nobody in the manifestation space is actually explaining. This isn't just some cool physics fact. This is direct evidence that
No, I have explained this in like 100 videos. So I openly contest that. And if Luna would like to get on my channel and do a live stream with me, we can talk about it.
The universe operates on principles that make everything you've been taught about creating your reality.
And the fact that people can actually listen to her voice, because let's just listen to the cadence of it just for a moment.
Laughably incomplete. I was stuck for years, exhausted from a job I hated, watching my business struggle.
It gives very much influencer voice like this. She keeps the same inflection throughout the whole video. And I understand talking like this for a little bit, but you can't keep going like this through the whole video. Like, that drives me nuts. The fact that, and don't get me wrong, I've done it. I can do it on voiceovers, but I feel like I try to do it in an even more hypnotic type of trance, but I also do kind of keep it to where you know that I'm not AI and I'm still a human. I make mistakes, I and and what's wild is now they're even adding that into some of this, and she's so well-spoken. Do you think that she's that intelligent to where she's got no things where, and I'm guilty as charged, I do it all the time, but likes and buts and and thens and that's and ends. She is so well-spoken, and she looks like she's 20 years old.
Tried was working. The moment I understood what entanglement actually implies about consciousness and reality, everything changed. And it changed fast. Let me show you what I finally understood.
And the other reason I knew, there's like something with her mouth. Something's like not right here. And she did that movement of the eyes. Like, she definitely blinks, but the movement of her eyes and the way she keeps them deadpan in the camera, you have to see how her eyes just don't move really from side to side. She doesn't like look up and to the right. They don't pan on her face for very long moments. It's almost like the moment that your eye is attempting to catch what's uncanny about her face, it immediately clips to the next moment.
To hear quantum physics and think this is just interesting theory with no practical application.
And she repeats a lot. That's a lot what these AI scripts tend to do if they're not trained, if they're not, using your natural language patterns, if they're not engaged with back and forth regularly or deep dove within topics, you'll give it something and it will give you the most generic, crappy answer ever. And it will give you this thing here, like what they're doing, this repetitive. You still don't understand, like, how many times in a row are you going to tell me that same thing, like this here?
It is to hear quantum physics and think this is just interesting theory
Yeah, like you had said that earlier. So how many
no
times?
practical application. I thought that too.
Application.
For years, I'd read about quantum mechanics in manifestation books. I'd heard people talk about vibrations and frequencies and the quantum field, and honestly, it all sounded nice, but nothing clicked. Nothing changed. I was still waking up exhausted, still commuting to a job that felt like it was closed.
What kills me is that they're putting her as if she's going to work. If you're AI, how are you exhausted coming to work every day?
Draining the life out of me.
I can't.
Watching my business barely generate enough to cover.
And what business are you running?
Expenses.
I would like to know what business this AI person was running.
The problem wasn't that I didn't believe in manifestation. I believed in it completely. The problem was
The eyeballs do not move.
that I had a surface level
Like the lids move, but the balls of the eye do not move.
understanding of the actual mechanics. I was trying to use a tool I didn't really understand. When I finally went deeper, when I stopped accepting the spiritual interpretations and started studying what physicists actually discovered, I found something far stranger and
I need to play this on 2 times fast because she is speaking too slowly for me. That's another thing where AI, if you're actually going to watch it and it keeps that speed, that monotone, and it seems like, okay, if we're, for example, that's another thing that's human, at least for me, that you would tell it was me. I fluctuate. I could be going at a normal rate and then I'm going at 1.25, 1.5, 2.0, then I could be blabbering at 3. I'm hyper aware of this. I try not to speak too quickly, but it's something that within the inflection of my voice and how quickly I can move through different content, I'll do that. If you're going to just sit and talk like this the entire time, and I mean, maybe some people enjoy this, and obviously they do. She has now 14,000 subscribers and a ton of comments. So I'm going to play this on 1.5.
far more useful than anything I'd heard before.
This is much better.
What quantum entanglement actually is and why it proves that reality is non-local. Then we'll look at the observer effect and what it really means that consciousness affects matter. After that, I'll explain why this makes traditional manifestation techniques incomplete. And finally, I'll show you exactly how I applied this understanding to transform my own life in months instead of years.
So this AI transformed their life.
So
That's where it starts
It means the universe is fundamentally
to become nuts. Maybe the person running the AI channel, I don't know.
at the deepest level of reality. Separation is an illusion. Things that
Who knows? Maybe this person actually exists and they just don't want to show their face. But again, I feel like disclose it.
appear to be completely disconnected are
Unless this is like complete AI, like somebody just pulled this character out of somebody, like they saw a model in a magazine and then recreated like a new AI entirety.
actually part of a unified whole. Distance, the space between objects, isn't what it appears to be. Now think about what this implies for you. You've been taught that you're a separate individual in a vast universe, that there's you here and the things you want over there, and that you need to somehow bridge that gap. But quantum physics is showing us that the gap itself might not be real. At the most fundamental level, you are not separate from anything, but entanglement is just the beginning. The next discovery is even stranger, and it's the one that changed everything for me.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this a million times at this point, everybody. Yeah, I mean, we talk about this a million times at this point, everybody. Especially if you're in this community, you know what entanglement is at this point.
It's called the observer effect, and it demonstrates something that should be impossible. The act of observation itself
The observer effect.
changes physical
I should
reality.
get that tattooed at
Here's
this
the famous
point.
experiment. It's called the double slit experiment, and it's been performed thousands of times with the same mind-bending results. You fire particles, let's say electrons, at a barrier with 2 slits in it. Behind the barrier is a screen that records where the electrons land. Now, if electrons were just tiny balls of matter, you'd expect to see 2 bands on the screen, one behind each slit. Simple, but that's not what happened.
I've explained this like 20 times on my channel, maybe.
Instead,
I don't know. I'm making that up, but
Bands of light and dark spread across the screen, the same pattern you'd see if waves were passing through the slits and interfering with each other. This means the electron went through both slits at once, interfering with itself. behaving like a wave of possibilities rather than a solid particle. Here's where it gets really strange. Scientists thought, okay, let's watch the electrons and see which slit they actually go through. So they set up detectors at the slits to observe the electrons. The moment they did that, the interference pattern disappeared. The electrons started behaving like normal particles again, going through one slit or the other, creating two simple bands on the screen. Let me make sure you understand what happened here.
Yeah, and do you see that this entire time she's not panning to her face at all? She only pans to her face like in the very beginning and at the very end. That's because then most of the video can just be AI and it doesn't have to be created in too much, because that's like, I think it's more of a pain in the butt to have AI run through like in a 25-minute video. So it's going to have a lot of filler, like what we're looking at now.
Electrons change their behavior based on whether or not they were being observed. When no one
And it's not just about people observing. A lot of people leave that out. It's about any measurable thing, like any device or any machine that is measuring something. It's not just about human observation.
they existed as waves of probability going through both slits simultaneously. When someone watched, they collapsed into definite particles with definite paths. This has been replicated countless times. The results are always the same. Observation collapses possibility into actuality. Now here's the question that changed my entire understanding. What is it about consciousness that has this effect on matter? Physicists still argue about the interpretation, but the experimental results are not in dispute. At the quantum level, the act of looking at physics, the physics of everyday objects, locality is a fundamental principle. Things can only affect other things through direct contact or through signals that travel through space. If I want to move a cup across the room, I have to walk over there and push it or throw something at it, cause it.
Yeah, so there's been plenty of things that prove at this point from a science perspective that
locally, in sequence, through space and
everything
time.
is non-local.
Quantum entanglement breaks this completely. Entangled particles don't communicate through space. There's no signal traveling between them.
It's
The
because
correlation is non-local, meaning it happens outside of space as we understand it.
right, because there's outside of, for me, the sim, there's no space and time technically. So it's just like infinity mind. So it's not necessarily
It's as if the two particles are really one system, and
everything is connected. Everything has some correlation to another thing.
Physicist David Bohm described it beautifully. He said that quantum physics suggests the universe is like a hologram.
I believe in this, but does this person, and are you just pulling it because you saw their videos?
What if reality works the same way? What if
Connecting
separation between
these.
you and everything else is a kind of illusion, useful for navigating daily life, but not fundamentally true? This isn't just philosophy anymore.
This is all the field. So it's basically all the different fields interacting with one another. It's like just all of it. We're all like a field within a field within a field almost, of waves and properties of wave functions, all interacting with one another. I know that sounds wacky to say it that way, but when you talk about it from a quantum perspective, that's what it is. It's just that we're too large to be explained in that small molecular way, because we don't function visibly in that way. But I think it's one of those things where it's on both ends of the spectrum, where it's too small for us to see, but could also be so large that it is happening and we're just not realizing that we're interacting with it in that same way. I think for me, what fundamentally feels funny is that I have AI explaining to me that they felt lack. If the person believes it, like what's the difference if they go and improve their life and they're able to pull a lot out of this? It's just like, once you know, it's like, if you haven't experienced it in this way.
Years, it suddenly became available at exactly the right time at a price I could afford. Coincidence? Maybe. Or notice at work. Walked away from the commute.
Did you really put a notice in? Perhaps the creator of this channel did put a notice in?
The exhaustion, all of it. And instead of feeling terrified, I felt certain. Because I wasn't jumping into the unknown, I was collapsing into a reality I'd already connected with.
I can't stop laughing at it. I think this part is my favorite part of the whole thing.
You're
right here.
Constantly. Every thought you have about yourself is an observation.
This is
Every feeling
great.
about your situation is an observation. Every assumption about what's possible is an observation. If you spend 20 minutes in the morning perceiving yourself as successful and then spend the rest of the day perceiving yourself
Fabulous.
as struggling, guess which observation wins? The one you're maintaining most consistently.
I love
This
that.
is why people do affirmations for months with no results. They affirm for 5 minutes and then spend 23 hours and 55 minutes observing the opposite. Quantum collapsing requires.
I think that's a fabulous explanation at that moment. But we've talked about that on my channel a million times. If your dominant inner dialogue is that you can't, and you're affirming like for whatever 100 times, and then all your other inner dialogue, the way you feel, the way you act, the way you think, everything, the way you quote unquote vibrate is at a completely opposite level, or it's just not in the direction of the reality that you're looking for, and it's focused on everything else, all the illusions in the sim, then you will begin to produce those consistent results. Of course, the idea of this all being a mirror, so that's why this makes sense, but isn't going to be able to give you a lot of real life tangible experiences with this. AI doesn't know how to tell you how to avoid these kinds of inner things, because it doesn't, obviously these things will become more slick as time goes on, and they'll steal more content, etc., but an AI can't connect with people on a human level through these really lived experiences, these real life synchronicities. These are all kind of general made up synchronicities. They're not played out actual stories for real in what's going on now. Maybe in some AI universe it's happening, but for me it loses a lot of authenticity when it starts talking about, oh, I lost my apartment, or I couldn't find my job, and you're actually not a person, you're just an AI that was prompted by a chat GPT.
There's consistency. You have to become obsessive about what you're observing. Catch yourself when you slip back into the old perception. Redirect your attention immediately. Make the new perception your dominant state. This isn't about being positive all the time. You can have emotions. You can deal with challenges. But underneath all of it, your core perception of who you are needs to stay anchored in the version of you who has what you want.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It happened within months because I wasn't getting mixed signals anymore. I was consistently observing one version of reality, and that's the version that collapsed into my experience. Let me bring this all together. Quantum entanglement proves that the universe is non-local. Things that appear separate are actually connected at the deepest level. Your perception is not a passive witness. It's the mechanism through which possibility becomes reality. This changes everything. Sit with it. Not slowly, rapidly. Because the connection was always there, was working for me. Your job is to start perceiving it as already here. Okay.
It's just a lot of repetitive stuff at this point. The fact that she keeps saying the same thing over and over again in different ways. I get it. Repetition helps, but I think this is mostly because they want you to listen to the video as long as possible. That's why it's almost 20 minutes long. That alone gets their runtime up, and all they're doing is just repeating over and over again the same kind of thing. So you continue to listen, and it's kind of just like a bunch of mental what, and for you to click and watch the video with no real substance underneath of it all. It's this surface level manifestation stuff, which I do love those videos in all realities. They're fun to listen to sometimes, but it seems like these channels, like these AI, I don't know if I'd consider this like a slop channel. It's definitely not slop. It's pretty good. It's very convincing. Very the girl's very beautiful, the images are nice, and the scripts are decent. I think they could do better on the voice and do better on how she moves, because she does like the same consistent movement over and over again, like, and then like you'll see it's very starting to become obvious to me when I start to really focus in on every little piece, like her eyeballs, the way her hair moves, the shadows. They did a really good job with the lighting, that's for sure, but I think that's why they have her sitting in certain backgrounds and lightings, because it'll make it even look more convincing. So I hope everybody enjoyed this review of a fake, at least from my understanding, AI influencer that is teaching you about the secrets to life and how you can hack the quantum field and get everything that you want in your reality. I think it's full circle, full loop. It makes me laugh, and I thoroughly enjoy watching some of this content. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it too. If there's any other channels you would want me to check out and review, let me know in the comments below, and I will do so maybe on another video. All right, everybody, until the next time, I know you will all continue to manifest magic and resonate on your most aligned frequency. All right, bye, guys.